Welcome to the class. So here we are with our second chapter of Indian economic development, that is 5-year plans in India, goals and achievements. And in the previous video I have explained you what is economic planning and why the economic planning was needed by country and how it was established by planning commission in the way of 5-year plans, and how the 5-year plans were abolished and replaced by Niti Aayog. All I explained you in the previous video. So our today's topic is difference between directive planning and comprehensive planning. Students, so basically there are two types of planning done by government, that is directive planning and comprehensive planning. Directive planning, the name itself is relying that the directive planning is the planning in which the directions are given by the government. So in directive planning, the government itself do not come forward to take any action or to make any planning go to happen, but it direct the private sector to control the forces of demand and supply in the market. Means government instruct and guide the private sector, private individuals, private owners to how to manage and how to do their working such that the demand and supply in the market could be balanced and could be controlled by itself only, so that there is no interference of government in that happening. So that is directive planning. Okay, I am reading it. The first point is it refers to a system in which planning is introduced to direct the forces of demand and supply. It is a planning in which the planning is done only to achieve some target or goals. So after determining the goals and targets, the planning is done to direct the forces of demand and supply. डिमांड एंड सप्लाई की फोर्सेस को डायरेक्ट करने के लिए ये प्लानिंग की जाती है, और इस प्लानिंग में गवर्नमेंट प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल और प्राइवेट ओनरशिप को आगे करती है और उनको एक्टिव करने की कोशिश करती है ताकि वो अपने अकॉर्डिंग वर्क करें, वो अपने अकॉर्डिंग डिसीजंस लें, वो अपने अकॉर्डिंग सभी एक्टिविटीज को देखें, डिमांड एंड सप्लाई को चेक करें और एक फ्री प्ले चलने दें मार्केट में, इकोनॉमी में. व्हाट इज फ्री प्ले है? Free play means when the individuals are free to take any decision and the result of that would be does not affect any kind of working, means they are free and according to that result they can take another decisions more. Okay, so again I am reading here that directive planning refers to a system in which planning is introduced just to direct the forces of demand and supply so that the system does not go wayward from the state of equilibrium. Means the state of equilibrium where the demand and supply both are equal, so that could be maintained in the economy, and according to that decisions should be made by private ownerships. Okay, so now let us come to comprehensive planning. Now what is comprehensive planning? The planning which is done by government and which there is direct participation or direct interference of government only. It refers to a system in which government itself participates in the process of growth and development. Means here also the planning is done by government, but here the government is directing someone else to work according to that planning. But what here is happening, that government is making is doing certain planning, and according to that planning the government is active in that planning and that work so that the growth and development could be achieved. Okay, so now second point, no direct participation of government. I explained you there is no direct participation of government. There is participation of government, but there is no direct participation, and here there is a direct participation of government. Direct participation of government in comprehensive planning. Now see third point, government directs the private sector. See government किसको मोटिवेट करती है यहाँ पे? The government directs the private sector with regard to a set of do's and don't. Means government यहाँ पे डायरेक्ट करती है, इंस्ट्रक्ट करती है प्राइवेट सेक्टर को कि उनको क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, so that there should be equilibrium in the market and there the forces of demand and supply could be controlled. So the government directs the private sector with regards to a set of do's and don'ts so that the national interest does not suffer. Means जो देश का हित है, means देश के जो पॉपुलेशन है, देश की जो वर्किंग है, वो बिना इफेक्ट हुए ये वर्किंग प्रॉपरली चल पाए. ओके, तो इस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्ट करती है कि उनको क्या काम करना है, क्या नहीं करना है, ताकि नेशनल इंटरेस्ट को कुछ सफर ना करना पड़े. नाउ हियर द थर्ड पॉइंट इज बोथ प्राइवेट एंड पब्लिक सेक्टर को एग्जिस्ट एज एन एजेंट ऑफ ग्रोथ. मीन्स यहाँ पे प्राइवेट इज कंसिडर्ड फॉर प्राइवेट sectors, private ownership, private individual, and the public sector is government itself. Both are the agent of growth. Means for bringing growth and development in the economy, for making it more good, both work as an agent and both work according to the planning done here. Okay, so fourth point is pursued in capitalistic economy. Capitalistic economy and socialistic economy, mixed economy, we all study these all topics in our next, after this we will study, but let me introduce this word to in short. What is capitalistic economy? Economy in which private sector or private individual is free to make any kind of decision so that the working could be done. जहाँ पे प्राइवेट सेक्टर फ्री है अपने डिसीजंस लेने के लिए, प्राइवेट सेक्टर बेसिकली वर्क्स टू मैक्सिमाइज द प्रॉफिट. अगर वो फ्री है अपने डिसीजंस लेने के लिए, अपने प्रॉफिट को और मैक्सिमाइज करने के लिए, कुछ उनको डिसीजन लेने, कुछ उनको चेंजेस करने हैं, देन दैट इकोनॉमी इज कंसिडर्ड एज कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी. एंड व्हाट इज एंड तो ये जो कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी है, इस कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी में कौन सी प्लानिंग वर्क करती है? डायरेक्टिव प्लानिंग. एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लानिंग में the comprehensive planning is pursued under socialist and mixed economy. Socialist economy means when the planning is done or working is done considering the main social interest or social growth of the people, then that is socialist economy. And mixed economy is what? Mixed economy means the mixture of capitalistic economy means private sector and socialist economy means public sector, and both the sector work and mix and work according to their, for achieving their own principles like profit maximization and social welfare. Then this economy is considered as mixed economy. Okay, so directive planning leads to capitalistic economy and comprehensive planning is pursued under socialist and mixed economy. Now, one more last point I have written for directive planning is that it leads to free play. Free play. See this word, the term free play is written here. Free play refers to a situation. Free play refers to a situation when the government of a country does not interfere with the market forces of supply and demand. It is a situation where government do not interfere in any working to force the demand and supply in the market. So this is known as free play. Okay, students. So now the directive planning and comprehensive planning is clear to you all. Okay, students. So let's start our next topic, that is different types of economies. So students, in microeconomics last year you all have studied the different types of economies, named centrally planned economy, market economy and mixed economy, right? So centrally planned economy works with the motive of social welfare, market economy works with the motive of profit maximization, and mixed economy works with both the motive, means profit maximization and social welfare. So here all these economy we are again studying, but the name is capitalist economy in place of market economy, socialist economy in place of centrally planned economy, and mixed economy is that same economy. Okay, so again we will study capitalist economy, and here the ownership or right to take decisions, right to control the force of demand and supply in the market is given to private sector so that they can work according to them and earn more and more profit as much they can earn. So this type of economy where private sector are given the right to take decisions, economic decisions, and they can work with the motive of profit maximization. That is capitalistic economy. Capitalist economy. Socialist economy is that where the public sector means government have the right to take all the economic decisions related to the process of production, distribution, and employment, everything, so that they can work with the motive of social welfare. Then this is considered as socialist economy. Okay, and the third one is mixed economy. Again, the mixed economy is mixture of capitalist economy and socialist economy. So here both the sectors means private sector and public sector have the right to take decisions to some limits, so that they can work with both the motive profit maximization and social welfare. So our country India is a mixed economy, and here the private sector and public sector both work and try to achieve their motives. Okay, so let us study what is capitalist economy. I am reading. A capitalist economy is defined as the one in which the means of production means factors of production, and factors of production means land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, are owned by the individual. These all are private individual, not working under government, and these all are individual. All the means of production are owned by the individuals, any private, and the individual are free to take their economic decisions. Individuals are free to take their economic decisions as guided by the principle of profit maximization. Any principle that is guided by the motive of any activity that is guided by the principle of profit maximization, so that according to that they can work and change their decisions, change their policies, and work according to that. Okay, so that is capitalist economy. Now let us see what are the features of capitalist economy. So there is a private ownership of the means of production. All the means of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, all are private, and they are having their ownership in a private manner. Okay. So the means of production are used in a manner such that the profit are maximized. All the means of production are used in such a manner so that profit maximization is possible, and more profit maximization could be achieved. Okay. So third point, the role of government is rarely confined to the maintenance of law and order and defense of the country. Means in capitalist economy, there is a role of government, but it is confined to what level? Means those rules and regulations the government can make that run the country and that do not affect the country's working. Means the law and order of the country, the defense of the country, such kind of working is done and such kind of control is over government. But all other working, so to run the economy, to create the demand and supply, to control the market forces, all these decisions are run by the private sector. So this is capitalist. Students, this was the capitalist economy. Okay, so now let's read its merits and demerits. What are the merits of capitalist economy? The first point is it promotes self-interest. It promotes self-interest means it works on the principle of profit maximization. So it is promoting the self-interest. What does one person is hoping to have, what he is demanding to have, so he can work according to that. So it promotes the self-interest. The second point is profits are maximized, and the third point is GDP growth is accelerated. If there is profit maximization in the economy and the whole sector is working, means in the sector there are various industries working and all are having a maximum profit in their working, so it will result in a proper and a best GDP growth in the country. Okay, so the third point is GDP growth is accelerated. Now the demerits of capitalist economy. So the first point is the principal demerit of the system is that it ignores the collective interest of the society. Sometimes apart from profit maximization, society needs some basic changes so that there is less profit, but it is working in the interest of society, and they are having proper functioning, they are having proper facilities for them, so it is very important for them also. So apart from profit maximization, it ignores the collective interest of the society. Sometimes what the society is demanding, they the capitalist economy do not bother for that, and they work on their principle of profit maximization. Only those goods are produced which yield high profit, means the production of those goods is done in the country which can give higher profit to them, not those goods which are demanded by the population of the country, which are demanded by the society for their own living, right? So the third point is production is directed to satisfy the needs of the rich, means those goods are produced which are in demand, and the demand is created by rich people. Rich people will demand the demand of those kind of products will be there, that production will be done, right? So and rich people will demand quality goods, expensive goods, and expensive goods lead to means high profit. And if there is high profit, then only the main motive of capitalist economy could be achieved. So the production is directed to satisfy the need of rich people. Sometimes there is production of basic goods like which are needed by whole country, whole population. But apart from that, when it comes to profit maximization, then the private sector prefer those goods which are demanded by rich people, so that they can earn more profit. Okay, so the rich people or the poor people or the poor sector is ignored somewhere here. The poor people suffer the deprivation. This is growth without social justice, means the GDP growth is accelerated with this, but there is no social justice, there is no justice for the society, also for the people living, means the every class people, means rich people, poor people, there is no justice in them, between them. So now let us study the socialist economy. What is socialist economy? I have explained you that it is owned by public sector, means government, and government only takes the decisions here around the country. So see, a socialist economy is the one in which there is a social, means collective or public ownership of the means of production, means the means of production, the factors of production are only the government, in the public sector, and the economic decisions are taken by some central authority of the government, means all the decisions are taken by main authority of that government in the country with a view to maximize the social welfare. और उनका मेन मोटिव क्या होता है इसमें वर्किंग का, डिसीजन मेकिंग का, so that social welfare could be maximized, social welfare could be achieved. Okay, so if we talk about the features, so the features are means of production are collectively owned by the society, okay, as a whole, or there is a public ownership of the means of production. The means of production are collectively owned by the society, means the people only, and there is a ownership, there is public ownership of the means of production, means government only. Means of production are used in a manner such that social welfare can be maximized. प्रोडक्शन इस तरीके से होता है और मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन को इस तरीके से यूज किया जाता है, रिसोर्सेज को इस तरीके से यूज किया जाता है ताकि सोशल वेलफेयर अचीव किया जा सके. देयर इज अ डायरेक्ट पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. इफ आई से in capitalist economy, the private sector was working, private sector was taking decision. So if we say that which kind of planning will be done in capitalist economy, so here the planning will be directive planning, as I explained you now only. So directive planning will be done in capitalist economy. But if we talk about socialist economy, they are saying there is direct participation of government. There is direct participation of government, and in the economy where there is direct participation of government, the planning is comprehensive. There will be comprehensive planning. So there is direct participation of the government in the process of production. The role of the government is not merely confined to law, order and defense. Means law, order तक या defense तक इनके जो ओनरशिप है, मीन्स जो अथॉरिटीज है वो वहां तक लिमिटेड नहीं है. दे आर ऑल्सो एबल टू टेक डिसीजंस, ऑल द इकोनॉमिक डिसीजंस ऑफ द कंट्री टू. ओके, सो मेरिट्स ऑफ सोशलिस्ट इकोनॉमी. Socialist economy achieves the equality in the distribution of income. Equality in the distribution of income means all the sectors, all the classes of the economy, like rich section, poor section, there is equal distribution of income. All the sections are getting equal part of the income of the country. So growth process become inclusive and it is based on the principle of social justice. Means growth process is inclusive here, growth is also happening, and it is based on the principle of social justice. Means that there is justice among rich section and poor section, both the sections. Now what are the demerits? The principal demerit is that GDP growth remains a slow process. Means if we look forward towards social welfare, then how profit will be maximized in the country, and if the profit is not maximized, then how the GDP growth will be accelerated and how the GDP growth will be better in the country, right? So the GDP growth is slow in socialist economy. This is because the production is not directed by the principle of profit maximization. Obviously, the GDP growth is not happening because the principle is the production is not directed by the principle of profit maximization. Instead, it is directed by the principle of equity and justice. Okay, learn the word equity and justice. The production is directed by the principle of equity and justice. It is owing to this demerit that the erstwhile socialist economy like Soviet Union and China had to switch over the market economy from the controlled economy. And here it is written that because of this demerit, various developed country or developed economy have switched toward market economy, we can say, means capitalist economy, where they are having profit maximization. Okay, so this was our socialist economy. Okay, so now let us come towards mixed economy. Now what is mixed economy? The word itself is saying that it is a mixed economy, means it is mixed economy of capitalist and socialist economy, means both the private sector and the public sector to some extent, means to certain limits, they are having their ownership also, they are having their rights to take decisions, and according to that they work and achieve their motives. And what are their motives? For private sector, they work to maximize the profit, and for public sector they work to achieve the social welfare and to do the social welfare of the society. In this way, both the things can be done in the country. Okay, so a mixed economy is the one in which there is a private as well as public ownership of the means of production, and the production decisions are governed largely by the principle of profit maximization, but not without check and balances of social justice. Means the decisions are taken keeping in mind the profit maximization mainly, but do not disturbing or do not harming the social welfare also. Okay. The features, let us read the features. The silent features of the mixed economy are means of production are owned by the private entrepreneurs as well as the government. Means both the sectors are having their ownership here. And in the private sector, production decisions are governed by the principle of profit maximization. We know, yes, private sector, they work with the motive of profit maximization, and while in the public sector, social welfare rules the roost. Okay. So third point, both public and private sector plays a significant role in the process of production. These were the features. And now what are the merits? The principal merits of mixed economy is that it combines merits of capitalist as well as socialist economy. Means the mixed economy is combining the merits of capitalist economy, means GDP growth is accelerated, and also the merit of socialist economy, means social justice is there, means equity and justice is there. So in this way, the merits of both the economy is taken by mixed economy, achieved by mixed economy. So the principal merit of mixed economy is that it combines the merit of capitalist as well as socialist economy. On the one hand, GDP growth is encouraged because of private entrepreneurs are free to focus on profit maximization, and on the other hand, social justice or equality is promoted because the government sector places high priority on the maximization of social welfare. Means both the sector work hardly to achieve their motives, and in this way the merits of both the sectors and both the economy is taken by mixed economy. But there is demerit also. Now the principal demerit is that the government sector is often infected with the corruption. We all know that all the working there is every section, in every working there is one demerit or bad thing, that it includes the corruption also. So if both the economy is working with their all the best possible efforts, so that the merits are also achieved by them, but in both the sector there is some kind of mishappenings, and that is known as corruption, and because of that what we have planned to achieve is not achieved. So the principal demerit is that the government sector is often inflicted with the corruption, leading to low level of efficiency. We all know that because of corruption, because of low efficiency, means the government sector जो workers होते हैं वो they not work with that efficiency, because in private sector they have to work to earn more profit, but there is no force in public sector to work or to earn more profit, and they work with less efficiency. So it is owing to this demerit that the mixed economy in India, like India, are gradually opting for privatization of public enterprise. And because of this demerit, what is happening in our country, the mixed economy are gradually opting for privatization of public enterprise. Means the public enterprise means enterprises which are under the control, under the ownership of public sector, means government, they have to opt for privatization. They have to give the responsibility of their working to any private working institution or association. Okay, so these all were the features, merits and demerits of all the three economy: capitalist economy, socialist economy and mixed economy. Got it, students? So as we have studied first the directive planning and comprehensive planning, after that the different types of economies, their features, merits and demerits. Now after this we will study long-term planning and short-term planning. So basically long-term planning and short-term planning is done to achieve certain goals and targets or any objectives, right? So by long-term planning or there is certain long-term goals, means when the goals, to achieve the goals, the working require lot of efforts for continuously for certain years, then these goals are known as long-term goals. Got it? जब हम किसी गोल को अचीव करना चाहते हैं और उस गोल को अचीव करने के लिए कंटिन्यूसली हमको कई सालों तक उस पर एफर्ट्स देने पड़ेंगे, उस पर कुछ शॉर्ट पॉलिसीज बनानी पड़ेंगी, कुछ और चीजें चेंज करनी पड़ेंगी, बट कंटिन्यूसली उस लॉन्ग टर्म गोल को अचीव करने में हम एफर्ट्स लगाएंगे, देन दीज लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स लीड टू अ लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग. ओके, सो लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग. एंड व्हाट इज शॉर्ट टर्म प्लानिंग? व्हेन there is need to achieve some short term goals, then there is short term planning is required. Okay, so this chapter is 5-year plan. So when the 5-year plans were started, so the 5-year plans include both long term plans and short term plans. So the long term plans required lot of efforts continuously for many years. So we can say कि first 5-year plan में भी जो objective थे वही same objective, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव थे या जो लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स थे वही गोल्स सेकंड 5-year प्लान में भी थे, थर्ड 5-year प्लान में भी, और कुछ सालों के बाद वो अचीव कर पाए या हो सकता नहीं भी कर पाए, तो कंटिन्यूसली वो गोल्स उसमें थे और उसके लिए वो प्लानिंग भी उसमें रिक्वायर्ड थी. बट इफ वी टॉक उसी 5-year प्लान में कुछ शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स भी थे जिसको अचीव करना था, तो वो शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स क्या रिक्वायर करते हैं? शॉर्ट टर्म प्लानिंग. सो वो जो शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स हैं वो कुछ पीरियड, कुछ सालों में ही उसको हम अचीव कर सकते हैं. सो उसको फिर हम रिपीट नहीं करते नेक्स्ट ईयर में. ओके, तो जो रिपीट हो रहे हैं हर साल की प्लानिंग में जो गोल्स हैं, सो दैट आर लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स, एंड फॉर दैट लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड. और जो गोल्स हैं जो चेंज हो रहे हैं और जो शॉर्ट पीरियड में अचीव किए जा सकते हैं, दैट आर शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स, एंड फॉर दैट शॉर्ट टर्म प्लानिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड. ओके स्टूडेंट, सो we will study this in our next video. Till then you study well, and whatever I have explained you, go through it and prepare your